Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another ES Futures trading stream. Um, I have opened before just for disclosure. I have opened a demo account in TradeFi. So I can have these charts here where I can plot. If I do anything, I can see the trades here, right? Physically, I can see the trades because what I have in Rhythmic really doesn't show, right? It should just show my position and that's it. I don't have charts in Rhythmic. I have my trading account on Rhythmic and just that. I don't know how to do this, man. I don't know how to place this or where to place this. I mean, this is the only thing that I have in Rhythmic. This is the only thing. My broker, that platform, my broker just give me this, right? So I can use this. I have an options also where I can pull the options. But I don't have any kind of plot in there. That's why I use Sierra. Actually, this is in the way. Let me find a place where to put this, because I don't need to see this because I have the charts. And just to give me a second here. Let me see if I can. I was setting this account. Okay, I guess this should be enough. I have this on the left side, on the left screen now. Now, before we dive further, after yesterday, I wasn't really facing today. I wasn't really that. I mean, at least for me, the expectation for the day after yesterday, after the type today that we have yesterday, was some rotation, some rebalancing of the inventory, basically in one thing. Based in what triggered the sell-off yesterday that we had yesterday. I am just going to try to trying to make sense of what happened yesterday. Okay, again, show me or give me somebody who tries to make sense of markets. I will show you something crazy, somebody who's crazy. But we can do something here. Okay, this chart that I have here in the screen, I mean the big one that I have here in the screen, shows all the overnights that this market has, right? Includes the overnight. All of these action that we have been seeing here started. Let me screenshot this thing because there are many things. Started. Now I need to magnify this. all the action that we saw starting in this overnight here. In this one here, right? In this overnight. Not, I call this not that I started here, but something of significance, of very a nuance that was obvious to me at the time was, this volume, man. The volume that we have here, was unusually high, and it was at the lows after extended overnight, in which session in which the market really right took the low of the 4-day range out for a second time, but it did not have acceptance. It opened, right? It opened inside. Yeah. Notice or check the difference between this volume, for example. I wouldn't call this overnight because it's only 2 periods, but this is extensible, very extended to the downside here, which is the day after this big break here, here. When it was, we have Trump here, the Trump factor here, coming inside, and was going to put like maybe 200%, 100% tariffs on China, something like that, right? We had this big break that we have there. But the context, I'm not going to talk about that now, but what we had before, right? Really laggard buying here coming in this market. We have a big break here that comes. And, you have back and forth, some rebalancing. There's some sort of rebalancing that happened here. At the time, here it is, and this is how markets are, right? There is watch and repeat all the time, but every time it repeats differently. There are no 2 days that are the same. There are no 2 markets that are the same. And what happened here, and this could be a key difference here today, moving forward. The rebalancing, when I was during this week, I was thinking, maybe market needs a couple days to do the rebalancing, and then after that do whatever it was doing it before. But it took the market 3, 4, 5 days to rebalancing. And after that, we have a breakout, We have a breakout. We have an inside bar here. And the breakout of the inside bar to the upside happens with a gap here. Breakout the 2-day range, breakout the 5-day range. And this one is very important now, this reference, because the high of this 5-day range falls in a pretty much almost to the tick at the center of this area that we were calling support at the time. I guess it was the 66, a number that was easy to remember, like 4 6s, right? 66, very exactly, right? But I won't consider this exactly, right? If I am going to buy or sell around this number, it's going to be crazy. Just call it an area here, right? This area or whatever. It can be a little bit higher, a little bit lower. The fact that it's exactly 66666 is just a coincidence. Okay. Yeah, we are going the Trump factor here, the break. This is 100% tariffs here. Then we have something very similar happening here during this, I believe during this day, when Trump comes back again. This time telling this going to put 200% tariffs here. It not 100 but 200%. Those are news, right? And the market breaks again, but it doesn't have the same effect, right? It doesn't have the same effect. Remember, if there's one thing that has the trigger something, if it happens again and again, each time will have less and less effect, to the point that the market will not care anymore. right? This was the taco trade, for example. I think that is what's playing now. And with time, the market was just disregarded. It happened with Ukraine. It happened with COVID. It happened with it's happening with the tariff wars, right? Um, try, Trying to keep ourselves, or me in particular, trying to keep myself in context is not easy. It's really, really hard, right? Because after the rebalancing that we have here, during this week, something that I observe is the market making a stance here, right? Really, really making a stance in this area here during this day here. Not during the days, my bad. It shows some heavy trading, right? Heavy trading, heavy volume in this area, high volume in this area, very, very high volume. That is just an observation. But when it becomes a factor that I pay attention to, when I start to pay attention to this area, is the next day actually. This day here, I don't know what day is, just use your calendars. This day here, this very narrow range day, when the market tries to pull lower, really tries, but you can see the action here. When it tries to push through this area, it just can't. Right? It just, there's a push, like boom, 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 then the push and boom, stops, right? Second time, boom, 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 stops, and then after that it moves higher. Right? There's no acceptance below this area here. But that's when I start to observe this and what start to happen afterward. Now there is some buying here above, back and forth, back and forth. This big break that happens with the same news here, the Trump factor here, right? And what happened during this day here? Also, it can take the range, it can take the market, right? Even though it's a very questionable law, it can take the market down to the opposite side of this range, which was forming actually. It leaves a very questionable law. I don't know why a market very questionable law. And by something also important that I am monitoring here is the spike here. There's a spike base here in this day. After, very unusual, right? Very unusual spike after the market does in this area, right? In this area, does this, a lot of times do this. It breaks to the downside. It has a huge break, right? It gets off of this chart, very, very low, to the point that takes, there is some references there in the lower side. All right, it happens, the breakout that happens here, the breakout of this 5-day range happens during the overnight. But notice where it opens, right? It opens inside, back inside this range, and there's a lot of shorts here now. A lot of shorts coming from the overnight, all right, which are not known for their strength, that are trapped now in this market, right? Really trapped. There were a constant showing here distributions this day here. There was some distributions here also that were closed during the regular trading hours during the same day, but this caught my attention as well. This one means something to the downside. The next thing I want to see is accumulation, just like I see here, but just like I see here. But the thing is here, right? There is a distribution to the downside here. My bad. This market closes this distribution and form a little one in the upper side. Form a little one in the upper side and leave us with this important reference. Okay, to the time there was nothing else but one more thing that was happening during that trading day, and is in the same way as you can know, I don't know if you can see this, but there is today, for example, there is significant volume here, blocks, right? 1500s, 1000, 1200s, and yesterday was a day like that as well, right? But I see big blocks coming here. This action that I see here, I don't consider this of significance, right? I see this kind of like trades, right? That everybody can see 1,000 contracts being negotiated. I don't know if these are buys or these are sells, right? But I see that. This is somebody that wants me to see that, because if there was something really of significance, it happens just like happened here. Now there's huge amounts of volume here, huge amounts of volume, and you don't see nothing like that here, like in this day. Really, when the market does its thing, it really doesn't care about anything. The market does its thing, it doesn't care about levels, it doesn't care about a moving average. Screw that. Market doesn't care about nothing. It just do what it has to do, right? But there is, again, this is something mechanical that I consider mechanical. I started to observe. I put it I put this on, in the trading book, like a part of my observation as well. And when this happens, there is a tendency for mechanical traders to use this area as a reference. Oh, there is support here, right? There is support here, there is resistance here, the market is making a stance here, the market is going to sell from this. If there's some selling coming, the market is going to buy from here, if there's some buying coming. Usually. Because when something is support, if it fails, it becomes resistance. Right? Just as simple as that. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Right? What happened after this? Overnight, 100% long. Overnight here to the upside. That was what I'm checking here is that wasn't checked with its next day regular trading hours. This one wasn't checked either, and there you have another one here. One of the scenarios. One of the scenarios that I have here that we talk, it was yesterday, actually. It was yesterday. Was that this all-time high that I see here, right? This all-time high here. What can happen here is, once we have a range here, this is a 5-day range, very visible reference here. You can use this high here. Another set of traders are using this support resistance area. Okay, there's a breakout that happens on this one, and this is something I learned. That I hear it actually from trader Dante, which I was listening just a couple days ago. I was listening to this, and he has. But remember, this is something that the interview was from 10 years ago, 10 years ago, and that the markets are changing all the time. So this is not you have to take it very, very lightly. Okay, don't die by that statement. But I consider that point of view very interesting. And what is this, right? Is that once the market takes a very obvious reference, which is this one here, in a breakout like we had yesterday, right? If there is no upside continuation, this breakout happens when there is something very obvious, right? To monitor for upside continuation. If this one happens, right, if the market comes up here, right, this is what he said, almost literally, here, does not take this level out, many traders will see this as a resistance. And if the market tries and collapse tries and collapse, right? What he says is you better you better be long in that market. Yeah? But also an important factor here, an important piece of information here is you don't know how he trades, right? But if you have listened the whole episode, his trades last several days and sometimes several weeks, right? So using that the interview, yeah, for that strategy specifically, I would understand that he would have been long here, for example, right? But uh, something that you can get out of that strategy is what happened yesterday, right? And it is something that we have talked here yesterday, which is I was leaning to the upside actually here, right? With the market trying to take this high, right? And one scenario is the market just moving, grinding its way towards this very slow here, very slowly. Because when there is some reference, for example, that can imply risk, bigger capital, bigger participants have the tendency to exit or hedge below that reference, which is what happened here. In this day, I believe VIX was 23, 24, something like that. There's a significant amount of hedging that happening here. So the pricing, the downside is already priced in the market, right? The market can trade there now because most are very well hedged now. Right? So there's not going to hurt anybody but traders. Right? And this was the scenario number one. But the second one was that the market fails to take this one, and may have some downside. But there was a caveat here on this scenario. Right? There was a very important caveat here, and what it was is that if this was going to happen, probably, or more likely, this will need some sort of catalytic, like some sort of news that can trigger some downside here. After all, we are still inside this big range with this important reference not being taken out yet, right? So if the market can take this one and falls back inside this 5-day range or 6-day range now or something like that, the potential destination can also be the opposite side, right? Bear in mind, what happened yesterday, I placed a trade here. I placed a trade yesterday when the market was doing something like this. We have two periods, I believe, and I got the 6710 puts, right? 6710 puts here. But in C, if I remember well, what happened? In C, there was a distribution here, right? That I didn't want it to be close or something like that. What was that? I have it here. Let me open this one. Yeah, it was that. I think I stick. I don't know. I didn't. Oh, what? I guess I can explain it here. I will magnify this. I will expand this. I have this period. When I had this period, taking this low out and taking this one out, but that's when I got long puts here. Now remember, there was no news, no nothing here, and for this trade to work for me, it needed to have a distribution here. Why it needed to have a distribution? Because of the following. Let me see. I can have the market is doing this. Then we have another period here. The retracement was significant. I was leaning to the upside, right? But market was doing something different, right? Remember, trading market you have in front of you, not what you think or want the market will do. And I got long puts here, right? Along that 6710. But what the market does next, it prints this next period that not just take this high out, right? Which was the higher distribution as well, but also closes this distribution here, right? Remember, the bias was to the upside. There was a selling that was coming from the opening, right from the opening. It was an inside day, so the auto chopper rotation was high here. So I thought this is it, right? I'm not going to be here in this market because this can actually take the opposite side of the range, right? The opposite side of this range. It can take this high out now, right? And I just exit there. I took my losses and exit. But what happened afterwards, and this is uncertainty, which is a fundamental part of this business. It is really very frustrating, right? When you have something, and just something happens, right? Something out of nowhere happens, and you have the Trump factor here coming to the market again, right? There is the president coming again and putting a statement out there, right? Putting a statement that says that there is going to be some limitation on goods exported or imported from China, something like that. I don't care about the news there, but that was the catalytic. Remember the second scenario. That was if you got something to the downside, that was the catalytic there, and it happened so fast, man. It happens so fast, and it really doesn't. For me, at least, I didn't have time here. I didn't have time to do anything because the movement and how it happened so fast, and increased the volatility. What happened? The volatility was so high as well that the market was trading back and forth like 30, 40 points. It was unbelievable, to see. Back and forth. If you were trading Nasdaq chop, that was unbelievable as well, right? At the end of the day, after all of that has happened, okay, notice what is happening now. Each time you have the same kind of news, each time the effect is less and less and less and less. All right. Now we have all of these overnight here, all of these weak loans that we have here, we have out now. There was several. This I want to open this overnight, for example, and open that overnight here, and you will see here. What is that? This one here. Where it came from, right? All of these loans coming exactly from last, right? This distribution here has been closed. The market just closed the distribution here, and this was it, right? Because you had the 6,700 here, and remember, right? This is a big if here. If this is something that has really relevance, okay, what the market does is the market will close these two distributions, okay, but close these two distributions and find and work its way out towards the opposite side. It didn't happen. It didn't have acceptance here. It didn't get even into value area. And notice what happened here, right? Remember, everyone can see this mechanical buying, the same way that I'm seeing here thousands and thousands and thousands of contracts that I can see. If I can see here, if I can see those ones, everybody can see those things, right? The same thing is some sort has, no, it's not happening now. My bad. Okay, so these ones are out. This is not, I don't care about this anymore, for example. When these references are traded, you know, I just erase those ones. This low is very questionable, okay? This is very mechanical buying again. The same kind, not in that regard, nothing has changed in the market. The type of trading remains the same, right? A probable, yesterday I was checking here in the lower side, is this going to have acceptance of this market? Where can this movement possible end, right? This is POC of this day, okay? This can be something that can be used down the road. Okay, that rebalance all of this inventory, all of these loans, laggard loans that come to the market, now are out. Now it's a good opportunity. The market has a good opportunity. Okay, it has a good opportunity to target again this high. Remember that I was talking about trader Dante's interview. You know, most traders will be seeing this as a resistance. You know, and actually a strong resistance. Okay, because there's a lot of stops here, the market is making a stance here, and that's as strong as it gets. Okay, the way how it happened yesterday looks like long liquidation, and something coming into today is this one. You know, my main thing for today is this one here, right? This one thing here. What is this? This is late, because we have a rally at the closing. We have a rally at the closing. Traders will aware selling rallies, right? Traders were selling rallies yesterday, and this is the late rally high. If there is some downside continuation here, this high will be rejected, and the market will actually start building value below this. What is happening now? This market is having upside continuation. It is an inside day, but it's building value overlapping higher. It's back again into this 2-day range. Remember, once it has been traded, it's not a reference anymore or relevance, but it is something that traders, short-term traders, will be watching. Okay, we'll be watching here. Now we are kind of like close to a breakout. No, but the breakout that we are having now will be breakout of this. What is this? This is outside eight on the downside, okay? And this can be a preparation, right? There's a lot of hedging that could have happened yesterday to the downside, to a market that was already hedged, and there is hedging now, you know, or positioning to whatever can happen tomorrow, because we will have, I think it's 99% sure that we are going to have CPI tomorrow. Before those kind of news events, the markets have the tendency to have these big upsides and big downsides, and then just closing well at the center of the range, for example, right? And also bear in mind that we have a packed week next week. We have FOMC, we have Chairman Powell conference, we have a lot of big techs, and we have PC also at the end of the week Which I don't know with that number if we are going to have that number. One of the things that I have watched here is, coming into earnings, and this also you will see this happening all the time, and this happens over and over, man. Now I was checking these charts, right? And we will taking maybe where this market can go, right? We check that in Netflix, and actually I had an area to the upside. This was a toss, right? And what the market does is boom, has a big break, right? Big break. And if we have takes back-to-back takes, this kind of movements set the mood to traders. No, this is gone. This is bad. This is really bad. I better start selling everything. And the next thing you have, just after that, the next thing we have is look at what's happening with Tesla here. Tesla is ripping way higher here. And look at this. This is one. This has to be daily here. 1 year daily, right there. Okay? This is it. Tesla hasn't. This is as weak as it can get for me. For me, right? This kind of lows are very very questionable. We have trending here, buying from a trend here. You can place a line here. You have the 200 moving average. You have the 100 moving average. Now it's buying from a very very visible mechanical level down here. This can be dangerous actually, right? And while Netflix was a toss, Tesla was actually maybe leaning to the downside. But look at what's happening. Right? Look at this day or intraday. The Tesla is just ripping, man. Ripping to the upside. It's a dream for traders what's happening here. You have a trending day after the fake out that you have here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Closes the gap, open the gap to the downside. There's a fake out here, and takes the previous day out, takes the previous day high out, and I believe that is also this high out. It's very close to take this high out as well. All right, okay, we have that. What else? Okay. Look at these highs here. Look at what can happen. The risk, how volatile this market can be. Look at this upside here. By the way, how much is the VIX today? VIX 17. Man, look at that. 17. After all we have seen yesterday, 17. Like, it's crazy, man. And it went all the way up to God. This is just, it is unbelievable. But this is how well the market is hedged now, right? Just a couple of days ago, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at how high it was, 29. All right. We have this downside we have here yesterday. It went up to 21. Look at what it is now. 17. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. And this is the thing, right? This peaks might come down to this area here. You know, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we'll see some volatility here, right? But this can be to the upside. I mean the market. Um, there is tremendous amount of stops here. There's tremendous amount of stops here above this JKAM level here. CDE. I mean this is clearly there's averaging here. All right. Stops here, you know, short stops here, the upside, and same thing up here as well. You know? We have seen these big breaks. I haven't seen the rip off to the upside. It doesn't necessarily has to happen, right? But it happens all the time as well. Volume has increased a little bit relative to yesterday. That is something different that happened yesterday as well. As the market keep going lower, one of the things that we mentioned as well is wait a minute. What I was trying to say? I lost the idea. Oh, volume. You know, one of the things that I talked yesterday, something that I observed in this market, that big volume, man, big volume was, and this is a constant. Something that this is something that is happening. That is happening. As a constant here now is in the past weeks is volume is coming in the downside days or during the intraday in the downside periods, right? There's some volume that really is coming. Okay, let's check that if I can. Let's see if we can magnify this. Well, let's see, this is a big day to the downside. For example, this is a big day to the downside. Look at volume higher. This was a big day as well. This one here. All right. I don't want to check these ones here. Oh, come on, man. This is 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. Because look at this is even better. Look at the periods here. They have higher volume. This is supposed to be 1 day, 1 year. All right. Default daily bar without overnight. Yeah. Right there. Okay, I have that. I have set up like that. Look at this day. You can see volume higher here. What kind of day is to the downside? Look at this volume higher here. What kind of day is to the downside? Now look at this day here. What kind of day is? This one is to the downside as well. You know, I'm not cherry picking this. I'm just checking high volume and then checking what kind of day it is. And you can see that pattern in the overnight as well. That's something that can be telling here. Let's see if is of significance down the road. All right. Let's check this market again. Daily, weekly, monthly. I'm gonna put volume here as well. Let's put volume here in this chart. Appearance, options, futures, intraday volume. Intraday volume? Wonder if I need intraday volume. Okay, let's put this. Because after all, this is just referential. Future of equities, so standard, show parallel volume, apply, okay. We have huge volume at the opening here, this Tesla. This is not supposed to be 30 minutes, this is supposed to be 15. This is supposed to be 30. Equities, volume, apply, okay. Oh yeah, this is some kind of like a more detail. No, let's change this to ten. All right. Steady volume coming here. Man, this has been a fascinating trend day here. Really misleading. Okay. Okay, let's close this. But let me. Okay, I'm interested in I guess the next one that report is Apple, right? Let's put Apple here. Look at that, man. Look at that, man. Look at what Apple is having. There's nothing coming into Apple here. Really low volume here. Huh. That's interesting here. What about Amazon? What about Amazon? Man, this is also there's nothing. This market is very quiet today. Ooh, look at the Google too. Meta, let's check about Meta Meta has reported? No, Meta has not reported yet. Meta, there is some volume here. And this is a day to the downside. Microsoft. Ooh, very low volume here. Look at this. Compare what you have yesterday, for example. You know, this is a 30, this is 15, this is 10 minutes compared with to the previous day. All right. Now let's go back to the day, to 2 days. Something that I like from Sierra, I am checking this actually. Yesterday, for example, the saddle is 67.37, which for Sierra is this level. What is this? 37. Very accurate relative to the official CM CME website. Very, very accurate. It's right there. Okay, so I can trust this. I can trust this. Now, pay attention to this. Okay, pay attention again. Let's open this high. Oh man, there's a bunch of highs here. You know, my sell. How can you sell this market, man? Come on, man. How can you sell? You cannot sell this market. No, I am just starting to open. As I say, I am just starting my day. Like I wasn't that interested. Look at this. You cannot sell this market. There is a lot of weak shorts here in this market. You know, shorts are being trapped here nicely. Look at, you know, sometimes you have these formations, but when you open the profile, it doesn't reflect it. It can be back and forth, and just random accumulation, random formation like a float, like a top flats, like flat tops, right? Now it's different. You know? Look at this period. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10, 13, 14 highs here. What do you think you have here, right? I'm talking about just the overnight. You have a lot of stops here. This kind of trading don't have the tendency to be the strong kind. Right? Notice what the market has opened. Where's my marker? Look what's open. What we have yesterday, what we have today. Look at the low, right? Let me move this back in here. I don't want it to be in this day. This was a reference. This one was a reference for yesterday. I was monitoring this distribution here. The market was able to take this low out and maybe making a stand here. But after I was watching on Nasdaq, you know, there were good odds that this market was going to close the gap as well. This is history. This is not worth anymore. I still am keeping this as a support resistance. Look, what happened during the overnight is happening here again, and the upside. But I don't want to be selling this market. You know, you cannot pay me enough to sell this day. And that's quite the thing, right? Most traders, based on what happened yesterday, probably will be short in the market now. Oh. It's a rotational day, but trending. I wonder now. Okay, I'm just starting to wonder here if let me reduce this. Let me see if I can I maximize this. Can I see that here in this chart? This is okay. There you go. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is 30 minutes chart here. This is something. Wow! Look at this. Let me erase this. I don't want to check this out. This is what drives traders crazy, right? You have a trend here yesterday. You know, this market is going to go lower. This market, and you find yourself selling this market. You know, trade the market that have in front of you. What do you have here? The market is going higher, man. It had a channel yesterday, very visible pattern, which signals heavy presence of technical traders, or basically short-term traders. Okay, short-term traders are not known, but by their strength this is what I want to show. Okay, this area here, this area here, this area here, can I draw a rectangle here? Polygon, horizontal, vertical, bowling profile. Oh, has bowling profile. What? No, it doesn't show. It's too much to ask for something that's free. Shapes. Rectangle. Woohoo! Yeah, look at this. Oh, look at this high here. Look at this. This area here, buddy. This area here. Can I move this? Oh yeah, I can move this. This area here. This is support. Support resistance around the 66. It was actually 66, 66, right? It's not here. Ah, this is interesting here. This is really interesting here. It's not that area. It's actually this one here. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. Look at that. I have 66. This is, I don't know. Maybe the charts is plotted differently here, right? But the weakness comes up here. Rectangle. Another rectangle. What do you have up here? Is tremendous amount of stops here in this area. In this area. So this could be this could actually be horizontal line, shapes. What else do you have here? Ellipse, multi-point shape? What the heck? No, I don't want that. Do you have an arrow here? Remove all high draws, low draws, vertical line. No. No, I don't want that. The heck? Oh, what? It looks good. Actually, this area here. It is. We still have almost 4 more periods here. But we might see a spike here, because now the market has. Now the market has the. This is breaking out. Let's take a long here. Let's take a long here. Let's take a long. What time is it? 39. Oh, we take a long here. Okay. I'll take a long. I'm long here. I'm long here. Basically, what I'm doing this is a breakout this day. Okay, this is a rotational day, so I can expect some downside. I don't want this market to come back below or even close this hard back here. If it comes close to that hard back here, where I have another hard back here, right? That it can easily come down to this area here. So my stop is 4 points actually here. It has been a slow day, so it may grind its way higher here. 60. What is 68? 68 settings. Okay, 68 sell. Yeah, 68. Let's put temporary stop there. Okay. All right. So this can be a look above and failure as well. Let's see how long can we stay in this trade. And let's start to monitor this one here. Both the Nasdaq and the ES have the same shape, the long short covering. Short covering actually weakens the market. I have placed my stop down here. It doesn't mean that I'm going to let the market come down. This is for emergencies only, right? Sometimes I may lose. Remember, this is just a this is a demo account. I don't have skin in the game here. Just to be just for disclosure. I don't have anything here, right? The only money that I may have here is what these accounts cost, right? This I'm paying like $50 for a tryout. There is nothing here, nothing involved here. It is different. It is completely different when you trade real money. People, and that's a big mistake that traders do, right? That we believe that trading a demo account is the same as trading a real money. Okay, the potential destination of this movement is this high. Okay, the potential destination of this movement is this high. I don't want to come back, as I said, I don't want it to come back below 60 or 77, 76, which would be here. Let me draw a line here. How can I do a line here? I don't want this kind of lines. I can draw a line here. This is drawing tools line or the horizontal line. 70, how much I say? 76, right? What can happen here is there can be a flush of this. Remember, this market has been trending higher. A rotation, this breakout is coming from a rotation. There may be a flush here, because remember who is trading this market. Okay, who is trading now that I have talked, or we have talked about what this is about, I can expand this and remove this, and now we know what all these lines means. Now this chart down here is just to show the trade, nothing else. Nothing else. Coming back below this halfback, what I can see halfback here, right? And why I call that my stop, right? If that halfback holds, there's more weakness coming into the long side. Okay, so if there's a flush that comes down here, it can actually have some acceptance below and enter this 2 periods range, right? What is this? 30 minutes? Yeah, this is 30 minutes. And coming back inside this range can actually target the opposite side. The same kind of principles, quote unquote principles, or observation that I have for the broad market is the same kind that I have in here. Notice that this high is being seen as a resistance now. Can you see? The selling that's coming from the selling. I'm playing those sellers now. Probably that are still the remnants from yesterday. Market break, now it's time to break again, right? It's just like that. Now, you have two possible outcomes of any kind of trade. Your trade can be good, or your trade can work or cannot work. Two things like that, right? If it doesn't work, boy, what do you do when the trade doesn't work? Close it. Don't pray for that. Your idea can be right, but your timing maybe it's wrong. Well, it's not good. It doesn't mean anything. Losing is very important part of this business. Patience is also very important part of this business. Really. If we don't have patience, we better start doing something to build that skill, because it is a skill that we need in this game. We need a skill. We need patience here. If I want to do something, if I want to get something from this. And remember, losing is very important. You need, or we need to love our losses here, because our losses is what will set us up for what may come later. All right. I am still here, right? I have explained the trade. Again, this is not real money, and it's very different when it's not real money. When you have skin in the game, it's completely different. Just think about this analogy, okay? Walking, I don't know how this is called, when you walk the tight rope, when you have a rope and it is tied at two columns, right? And you have to walk the rope, right? With a balancing bar, and you just walk in that rope. If you draw a line in the floor, you can put your foot on top of another one and do not fall. Do not step out of the line. Now suspend. Now let's put a rope there. But just suspend one foot from the floor. Right? We will learn that skill to walk on that rope with time. The people who is experiencing that skill, who has those skills, says that probably you will learn in a couple of weeks, and you may be able to do tricks on the rope. Somewhere between 2 months and a year, you can become kind of like I would say, an expert on that thing, right? On that sport, on that activity, and you can perform actually. Now, go to the next step, right? Now, place the rope not 1 foot above floor, not 4 feet above floor. Put it 100 feet, and now, right, 100 feet up high, or in between 2 buildings, right? That is that is when you really start to perform, right? You start to see what you are made of. That is, I think that's the closest analogy that I can do when people have these paper accounts or trading accounts and real money. For me, it's better to have a small account than having this kind of travels. But I am doing this just so I was thinking how I can show trades here, right? How I can show trades here. The idea of the process, the generating of the process here, and this is just one specific type of trade. Okay, what the market is expected to do is breaking out. If I am going to monitor this market for continuation, what is the next thing, right? The market needs to do. It needs to take this high out. We still have 4 more periods here. The period is closing. There is some weakness here coming. It's a rotation. Are we going to have a rotation? Don't know. It has been grinding this market. The activity that we have today is very, very different. Very, very different than yesterday. I can see some selling here, some volume here, I say selling because you can see not the number. Red is just high volume, purple is middle, and white is low volume. Okay, you can see reds here relative to the price level. Okay, there's volume that's coming here, but as the market goes lower, right? Oh, by the way, you cannot see that. Cannot see the trade. You see here. Oh yeah, but this is the DOM. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Clearly, it doesn't matter. Because it is here, and this is clean, right? It is here. I am long, right? I see. And pay attention to this, okay? This is the other thing here. I have value. Value is overlapping higher. Value is moving higher here, right? But we may have excess now. Okay, we may have excess here now. And if I am going to hold this for something, the next thing I have mentioned what I go on checking for upside continuation. The next thing is this market better build an upper distribution here. Do something like this, for example, right? You have a distribution here, have a distribution here, something like that in the upper side. If that doesn't happen, you got watch out. This market may have some downside actually. Learn to love your losses, man. That's so important here. Since I started in this business, what people get attracted to is to the immediate wins, to the huge wins that we have here. We are for sure we're going to be making thousands of dollars every 5 minutes, and Twitter, YouTube are full of this. Are full of that crap out there. You won't see a Twitter account, a Twitter trader that loses money. Everybody's winning there. YouTube, the same thing. Every single trader out there is winning. Every single trade is placed is a win. Oh, notice this, something that I completely forgot. Now there's an unfinished action here. Right here where the market is, where I took my long here, actually there is an unfinished action from this day here. That is interesting here. Very, very interesting thing. Right here where it is. So there can be a spike here actually, right here where I have this trade here. The first thing to monitor would be maybe, okay, I got 4 points here. How much is the 74 points or 6 points? So 82, 90, so that's 1-to-1 basically. 1-to-1. Because remember what we have tomorrow, we have PC, we have CPI tomorrow. From this chart you cannot see here, you cannot see it. This is just numbers here, right? During during M actually, but this M period is where I got that. I got that here. Let's hope it's still here. Okay, right here. This little thing here. Now this is an unfinished action here. The action has not been completed here. It wasn't completed to the downside either, right? And actually this was rather looking upwards because you have 3 highs very close. This is firecracker potential here and the action not being completed here. Acceptance will be see the market holding above this high here. All right, so I'm ready to move my stop up here or just using this as a, it shouldn't come back below this level if there is a breakout. I mean, if there is acceptance, I mean. We are right at that level. Let's see if it works. Those are the things that I am monitoring in the upper side. Most traders will see this as a resistance. Actually, they may see actually this as a strong resistance, and selling may be coming from this. And depending on what kind of day we have or what kind of movement we have, this actually can be used as a fuel for whatever may come. Right? But be ready as well. You know, losing is very, very, very important. I would say skilled, right? We have to be skilled to lose here. Lose gracefully. And not to be afraid or to acknowledge your losses. Now, the next thing that many traders do here quite often is, okay, the trade is working. I am going to move my stop now. Okay, I'm going to move my stop to break even. So this trade is if it doesn't work, it won't hurt me. This is a free trade, and right as soon as this starts to work, they move the stop higher. Okay, they move the stop higher. And the market just come back, takes the stop out, and keeps going high. How many times that has happened to you? How many times that has happened to me? I can't count, man. I can't count the times that has happened to me. Because there is something inherent to humans here, to human beings, is we don't like to lose. Losing is seen as a bad thing. Spirit is going to open at the highs. Overall volume has decreased. Oh, look at this, man. I don't like this. This kind of whites I don't like. Markets usually comes back and comes back below here and start building here, right? Start building here and start going. You can go higher or lower from this area here. I may be late to this movement. Okay, be ready to take a loss here. How good volume is, if I'm going to talk about the ES. Oh, look at the intraday volume, the ES. Relative to yesterday, okay? Higher, lower. Starting the third period is just lowest. It's a lot low. Fourth low, fifth low. You got this? Come on, man. Screw you. How cannot grab this crappy bar here? Okay. Let's grab this. What period is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up here. Look how low is. Really low volume. Again, come on, man, really? Lower. Look at how low this will end. It can end if I use this one. It can actually come down up. Look at how low is. It actually may end as low as Tuesday. Okay. Now, what I need here is the take, right? It may come a little bit, not maybe a couple of ticks again. On one market come back down below this level and getting back inside this. Let me maximize. How can I maximize this? Okay, right there. All right. Down below this area and getting specifically back inside this range here. Because one, that will close a distribution. Two, it may target the opposite side of the distribution, or at least target the high of the value area. Target the high of the value area here is also the low of this period. It's also happens to be support as well. I might be too late into this movement, okay? And that's part of the trade. Knowing where to exit is very important. So now this is the thing that can that can um, that usually happens with traders, right? Is, you know, you got these highs here. Oh, this is a double top. This is a triple top. This is another triple top that has failed. Whatever. Now this is a strong resistance. Now the market is going to sell from this area, and I see that quite the opposite actually. But it doesn't. I am not going to die by that statement. Okay. If this market closes this gap, this distribution, I am going to take my losses here. Because the next thing that can happen, and usually happens with traders, is they start to lose perspective. They start to dream trade, and start to think, you know what? This is going to go higher. Now I am underwater, and when the market comes down here, I am going to add to my position. So that is actually I am changing the trade once I have placed the trade. It is another thing monitoring the trade, and another thing changing the trade. If I am going to add to my position, either when it is higher or lower, that has to be part of the plan before entering the trade. For example, if my position is 4, or is 2 contracts, or I can have 4 micros or 5 micros, and that's my position. Okay, that's the high that I can go. All right, that's the high I can go. 5. If the plan consists of, okay, my position for this trade is going to be five contracts, 5 micros, for example, right? I am going to add, or I'm going to build that position in this area. I start building up here, but that is part of the trade. Or I'm going to start build as it goes higher because I see momentum or whatever. That's part of the position. That's part of the plan. Okay, that's part of the plan. When I start to change the plan as the market develops, that is when things can go south. Okay, that's really dangerous. I have noticed something here that I don't like is, you know, you got this thing, man. I don't want to watch. I don't want to see this thing. This is very disturbing, distracting. Really, it doesn't because you start to watch your profits or your P&L, and you lose track of the market actually. That's the worst thing that can happen to a trader. Trade the market. Trade the market. Don't trade your P&L. I've just noticed that P&L is out there. You can see it also here, and that's I don't know how to change this, right? Because in rhythmic I can hide this. I can in rhythmic what I have is just I see just my position, right? I can hide the P&L and ticks or whatever thing that may be happening is not just not there. Okay. One of the things that a trader plays a lot is the reverse to the mean trade. There is a lot of this market is very wide around POC, so it's going to come back to POC. So I am going to short this market right now, for example. Let's put things in context, man. I'm going to take a break here. I'm going to just observe. I don't know the words If there is any downside from here, it can happen really fast as well. Because the big movement can be left for tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow can be the big day. And the breakout that I am playing here can actually be tomorrow's. Now, what level is this? This is 74, 75. What level is this? 75. I want to move. I want to place the stop right there. Right here. This is so dangerous now. That's actually 7 points, right? Up here we have, yeah, that's why I say it's 1-to-1 here. Risk reward is 1-to-1. And why I move it? Why I this is the original. This was the original stop here. That's the stop actually, not the original. I don't have moving stops here. It is this. What happened if it comes back to 75 here? It actually will be taking this hard back here. It may target this another hard back as well, right? And it may chew its way back inside value area, you know, because that will be seen or can be seen as a look above and failure. And you know, can target the opposite side as well. Remember, this is settlers here. This is a day, this is an upside day. Everybody's in green here. No. Look at that. Look at that. This is so bad here now, man. This is not good here. This is not good here. The downside, the potential to the downside has increased here now. Now look at this low here, hard back, exactly hard back again. So if this market gives me a chance to move my stop now to up here, I will do that. If it gives me a couple ticks, I don't care. I will do that. And this is the thing, right? We always have to monitor the trade. Always have to monitor the trade. This is the play here. This high is very weak here. This one right, this high right where this is unfinished action here, and something may develop here. Right now, there is something serious to the downside. The market, you have seen that break, that quick break here. The market, the next thing you see is the market building its way down here and having acceptance below this low. That usually is how it happens. You know? And as you can see a lot of repetition here in this business. There's a lot of repetition, but repetition with variation here. This is still buying the dips here. This is deep buyers. Be aware who are you trading with, right? If you are trading with along the weakest traders, is one thing, and trading along the stronger traders is another thing, right? Now that high, IJ high, if I am going to stay into this one, that high has to move, kind of like fast. It has to be a dynamic break. Hey, doggy. Doggy. Yeah. Huh? Why are you sitting there? You like the sound? You're taking bath? Sun bath? Huh? You like the sound? Go ahead. Go ahead. What's wrong with you? You want belly up, belly up, belly up. Scratch, scratch. Trading is a very stressing activity here. Don't expect balance. I hear that, but I hear that from trivial daunting. It really is. It's a stressful activity. I don't know, you can relate to so many things that I really love that interview. I really like it. There's a lot of things there. And it's so emotional. This business is so emotional. One of the things that I related is, sometimes you get your ass whipped by the market, right? And you have a family. You have a family. You have wife, kids. People have young kids. You may have young kids, grown-up kids, teenagers, and they don't know. They don't have to know what you are going through in this business. Really, they don't have to. And they don't know, actually. When you try to explain, they won't understand. And you just have to be, right? Have to be present. '81 is a potential area. Now the market is checking, testing this area here. And now usually there is some, if there's acceptance here, the market will keep trading higher. If not, what can follow after this, after the market tests these volumes here, it will just fall back into this volume here. If it fails here, the next thing may target this area here. That's why it's important to know. It is very important to know to have a plan, right, in place before entering the trade. What is this area here? 81. It's so narrow. 80, just 2 points here. 81 here. This 81 here. Can be the risk. The next thing, right? If, for example, if this trade starts to work, I have this stop here. Next thing I can move it up here to this 81 area, which is where the market is lying, almost where the market is lying now. If I am let's see. Now I am going to categorize. I am trying to categorize this trade here. We never know for sure, but after the fact, right? These are the innovators, and these are the laggards. Early adopters. Early majority would be here. Late majority in this area. I may be, you know, as I say, I will never know for sure, but I might be in this area, very close to the laggards. Okay, very close to the laggards. But am I on this one stage? Don't know. As I say, I will never know. You know, this is the thing about with the Twitter, YouTube traders, right? They show you, oh, you got long here. One you have a printed chart. This is when you go long. This is when you go, man. That's bullshit, man. You never know when you go long. Never. You never know when you go long, when you go short. This is a constant development. What was good yesterday, and this is what it takes to be a trader. Now we have to stick to a plan, but at the same time, got to be ready to change your mind. Really to change your mind, with no shame into that. Now, I said that if this market gives me a chance, the opportunity to move my stop higher, that's what I will do. That's what I'm doing here. Right? This market may take me out here, but that's part of this. I consider the risk has increased, and that's what the part the monitoring the trade is. I am not willing to give it more here. You know, it's right there. All right. It's right there. The market may take me out and shoot this towards this high, but I haven't seen, right? I haven't seen the confidence in this market to stay there. Right? The next thing the market can do is come back and attack this low here. All right? May give us something here, some excess, and come back, or we can leave it like it is and take care of this tomorrow, because after all this is an unfinished action. As you can see, I'm out, and this is basically not even a scratch. This is a trade that has failed for me, but I am following the plan. I'm following the plan. How long I was in this trade? Is there a way to know that, for example? Positions, orders. $139, 140, 1 minute? I wasn't here 1 minute, was I? I don't know how long it was. That's not 1 minute. It shows, this is weird. It shows, this thing shows the buying at 1:39 p.m. and the selling at 1:40 p.m. There's something wrong here. I think I placed a stop at that time. But I bought like on this period here. Right? So I'm out here. The risk is, I think the risk is higher here, has increased. There is no free trade here, man. That's the thing. There's no free trade. We always have to risk. We always have to risk something. Now the next thing is, I will see the market going higher. Oh boy, I was right. Let me go back in, huh? No, man. That's what the market wants you to do. If you see something, that pullback the market has had, that quick selling, that first attempt, I think that was a good entry. If you had that, that would be a better position. Risky too, because it's buying from this area. What is holding is the gap distributions here. Now, but that would be a better position here now. That would be a better position. All right. I hope you have, unless you have any questions, I will be calling it a day here. Unless you have, I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye-bye.